Hello, everyone. This is Coach Sean, a certified life coach from the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneur. Welcome to Men Connect Who of the Hour episode for the Gentleman League. We are doing this video series as service to our community during this time of physical isolation due to COVID-19.
Yes, and I am Coach Hasmin, also a change agent certified by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneur. The Men Connect Who of the Hour is our initiative to connect with the men in our society. We connect to know what is their present situation, how they are responding to their present realities, and the outcome presently experienced as a result of the chosen response.
Yes, thank you. For the information of many, Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneur is based in Dallas, Texas, USA, with local presence through a 24 by 7 coaching hub at DCAP Copy Republic located in PC Compound, Capitolio, Pasig City. We offer coaching on demand services any time of the day. Just connect through 0917-586-1661 or visit our Facebook page, Life Coach Philippines. We also provide life coaching certification classes for those interested to become a professional life coach like us.
Yes, so moving on. So let me introduce to you our Who of the Hour. He is a life coach, trainer, author, and he once visited DCAP and interviewed Master Coach
Yes.
A. So let me
Yes.
introduce
Right.
to you si Coach Edwin Soriano. Yan. So
Hello,
hello
Coach.
Okay, I'm
Coach.
on. Yes.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you so
Mm.
much for having me, Sean and Hasmin.
Yes. Please tell us more about you, sir, and your present situation, especially your challenges in this pandemic situation.
Okay, thank you. I'd love to tell that, share that. So I'm here with my wife in our unit in Taguig, and we've been locked in. We've been quarantined since the start, and between in the past 12 days, 14 days, I got to go out once from our compound just to do groceries.
Mm.
Apart from that, we keep ourselves in the house, staying at home. We have 5 cats, so this is the most time that we got to spend with our 5 cats. If you're
Mm.
lucky, they might appear behind me in portions of the video. So yeah, that's our situation. Fortunately for us, we have good internet connection. Therefore, I'm
Mm.
able to do this,
Mm.
and my wife is able to take her Zoom meeting calls as well. I'm able to conduct our 2-hour webinars also. Yeah, I got to and various meetings with colleagues. So
Mm.
that's my situation, and I'd love to tell you more later on.
Thank you, Coach Edwin.
Yeah, Sean.
Too often, becoming a trainer and a life coach, I
Mm.
would think that you're always outside of your home, doing works, doing
Yeah.
classes, and so on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
Yes.
the
Yeah.
situation where you transition from being in the field, then suddenly transitioning from to work at home?
Right, right. It's interesting because I've been working on the road for a long time. What I mean by this is, oops, sorry. There. Okay, what I mean by that is I can do my work, my coaching from anywhere, from any cafe. Do you still hear me? Yes?
Yes, yeah. Mm-mm. We're good.
Okay. I'm accustomed to working from home. What's very different now is that we're shifting platforms from live seminars to online seminars. And I did it for the first time, a long seminar, a seminar that typically takes 3 hours. It's called the Relationships Seminar. I do it there you go. Okay. Hi. Ayan, that's Valley. I do it live in a hotel. That's typically my setup. And 2 Saturdays ago, I did it live on a webinar, and we had good numbers. So that's one shift that we did for our public seminar. We also did. We also prepared together with my colleagues. We prepared for corporate training, and that's done for some of the leaders of the organization.
Mm-mm.
And the way we formatted it is 1 hour on Zoom, and then assignments, and then the next day we meet again for another hour on Zoom. So that's how we are structuring it so that hindi masyadong mabilaukan ang
Yeah.
participants to have to sit down for longer, for too long, listening to a screen or interacting on the screen. Fortunately for me, I've been able to transfer much of what I do live to interacting on camera. For instance, I've been part of webinars where there are 100 people, and the facilitator is still able to engage everybody on the call during these Zoom calls. I'm able to transfer that. It's a lot of engagement and interacting with your audience even while everybody's at their own home. So that's my adjustment as a trainer.
Thank you, Coach Edwin. Specific to being a husband, sorry, do you have kids, Coach Edwin?
We have 5 cats. Apart from that, pina-project pa namin ang aming kids.
Project Kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coach. Yeah. Being a husband, Coach, how are you managing the situation with your spouse, with your wife?
Interestingly, we haven't, we're okay. Ibig sabihin, I've had a few friends who have expressed that they're getting irritated with their spouse or with their fellow family members. Siguro rule number 1 for husbands is wash the dishes. That's the role that I've taken. Parang naka-level up ang wash the dishes role ko ngayon because, ayun, we get to cook. We get to cook at home when typically in the past we would eat out. Now we're cooking at home more and more. Yung mga the pans that used to be at the bottom rack because they're barely used, now they're on the top rack because they're most active. They're very active. We get to watch series together. Very specifically, we're watching this series called Final Table. It's a cooking series which we get inspiration. So, yun, kahit na we're just cooking noodles or something, we're pretending as if we're chefs on a TV show. And then we get to support each other. When I'm doing my webinar, my wife is here to support me technically. And then when she's doing her webinar, she has her own webinar as well. It's called FemPower. And ayun, I get to support her also, technical stuff or just sharing the information to her friends, to her network. And our relationship with Reza, my wife, my lovely wife, her name is Reza Custodio Soriano. It's been very interesting. This is the most that we've been together 24/7. And interestingly enough, we haven't di pa kami nag-aaway ng ano. We had one, but that was short and sweet. But in general, we're enjoying each other's presence, supporting each other with each our own initiatives. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Asmin?
Yes, oo, galing ano.
Sige.
At yung ating ayan, nantay. Yung mga
Sige lang,
cats
sige
nila,
lang.
ang cute.
Yeah, later on,
Yes.
I'll show some of them.
Ayan, nanonood po si Coach A. She is greeting
Hello,
you.
Coach A.
Sabi niya, thank you for
Yeah,
saying yes to our tries.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me as well. I wanted to share actually another thing that has consumed a whole lot of my time over here, even while I'm at home. I'm actually working on a volunteer response for COVID-19. It's called Rock Ed Carpool. And what we figured is that nung nagkaroon tayo ng lockdown, public transportation came to a halt, which meant that the thousands of healthcare workers would be stranded. They wouldn't have rides. Of course, the doctors have their own rides, but the nurses, the med techs, the allied services, the maintenance of hospitals, even guards of the hospitals will not have rides to come in and out of the hospital. So that's one concrete way that I'm helping in responding to the COVID situation.
Wow. So you are helping out. And ngayon,
Yeah.
Coach Edwin, if you look at COVID-19, what is
Yeah.
COVID-19 to you personally?
Mm.
Alam nating disease siya, 'di ba? Pero para sa iyo, ano ang COVID-19?
Okay, that's an interesting question because I was reflecting about that. For the second day now, I reset my morning routine because in the past, in since the lockdown until around 2 days ago, pagkagising ko, look at the phone agad.
Yeah.
And then check messages, who needs help, what needs to
Mm,
be done, etc., etc. That's been my routine for the previous around 10, 12
mm,
days prior to 2 days ago. But for the second day now, I was able to come back to my more normal routine, which is start the day with prayer. So I open my Bible after showering. I open my Bible and read the day's readings. Um, and then yesterday I got to write about COVID actually. I'm a
mm.
contributor for a devotional. It's called Didake. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
renaming it. It's a daily
Mm,
devotional. And I was writing, the reading was about the Jubilee. The Catholic Jubilee, well, it's a Jewish tradition. The Jubilee is
mm,
a time for people to rest, time for the land
mm,
to rest, time for debts to be, if there are any debts owed between tenant
mm.
and a and the landowner. It's a time to forgive those debts.
Yeah.
It's also a time to free slaves.
Release.
So
Yeah.
the Jews would do this every 49, 50 years. Okay? And that was my reflection yesterday that thinking about what COVID is doing to us, I don't know if you guys got to see the photos of Manila Bay. My golly, it's the first time ever that I'm seeing Manila Bay and the waters are blue. It's also the first time that we're seeing Manila from afar. You're seeing Bataan, 50 kilometers away, and Bataan is so clear from Manila Bay. Antipolo, I'm just imagining 2 months ago, I was at Antipolo, I was seeing the Manila lights, and there's a thick layer of smog on top of Metro Manila. I'm wondering, my golly, I could imagine the skies are probably so clear when seeing Manila from Antipolo. My reflection is COVID is our version, my version in my mind. COVID is my version of giving the land rest, giving ourselves rest,
Mm,
being able to reset and find out for ourselves what is truly meaningful. I went even one step further yesterday after my reflection on the readings that everybody's having a hard time right now. Even I don't know where to continue, how to continue business. Well, we have ideas, but everybody's having a hard time, and commerce has come to a stop. It has come to a halt for so many businesses. Kung noon mabilis maglipat ng value because we're able to provide value face to face, etc., etc. Kung noon mabilis ang lipat ng value, money specifically, you can imagine it as money transferring hands from one person to the other, to the other, to the other, and each of those transfers of money is an exchange of value. So in the past, we've been able to exchange value at a rapid pace, but now with COVID, it has slowed down the exchange of value. Think of it as a commerce transaction that has slowed down. And what I'm aiming to do is to contribute to alleviating that burden on people very specifically. I was expecting a payment from my tenant in Cavite. And just yesterday, after reading about the Jubilee,
yeah.
I felt like, wow, kaya pala ako tinamaan when a friend of mine, Isel and Carl D, mentioned on their Facebook page that they're going to they showed a
Yeah.
check and they canceled the check. They have tenants who owe them, and they
Mm.
canceled this month's check. And I was inspired by that and by the reading. Parang kinukulit ako ni Lord. Edwin, di ba? The other day I showed you canceled checks. Now I'm showing you Jubilee. It's a time to forgive debts of people. And I did. So I sent her this message. I told my tenant, you owe me a hindi naman ako naningil, but whatever debts you've had, they are forgiven. And of course, it was April 1 yesterday, right? So I needed to make sure that she understood that this is
It's not a joke.
truly, yes, that it's not a joke. So I told her, truly, your debts are forgiven. Whatever it is that you've owed me for the past many months,
Yeah.
this is the
Wow.
time to let go of that debt, and to start, instead of looking back on how do I make up for what has been, for what I hadn't paid up in the past months. I'm giving her an opportunity to look forward to what could be. And 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 I could feel via SMS. I don't know how long it took for her to figure out that she was truly being forgiven her debts. It, I could feel the joy, the bliss, the celebration, on her part, on her side. Her husband has stopped working as a seafarer. Her daughter is somewhere out there in UAE, and the daughter is the sole breadwinner, and yun, I could feel the relief on her heart. But here's the interesting thing. Are you still there, Sean
We're
and
still here.
Yeah.
Hasmin and our audience?
We're
Are you
Here's
still
the
still
here.
here?
powerful thing that here's the powerful thing that happened. I thought I was freeing my tenant from the slavery of debt. And it turned out that I myself was was freeing myself of the expectation for somebody who's just really having a hard time, from the expectation of receiving
Yeah.
that amount from her. I felt my own liberation in forgiving the debt. Na, you know what? Instead of having a headache, just expecting and waiting and asking for that debt to be paid, I, 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 I freed myself from the slavery of just wanting that money to come to me. And yeah, and I released that. And you know what? People need help.
Yeah.
So that's what it is for me now. COVID is a time of reset, of forgiving debts, of letting go of what doesn't what what we think matters, but actually it doesn't matter as much as our relationships with our family, with our friends, with ourselves, with our God.
Yeah.
That's what COVID-19 is for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's so
Wonderful.
beautiful. Yeah. Oo, yun talaga yung ano, no, the way things have been happening. And thank you, Coach Edwin, for showing the audience and us a vulnerability as a man. Not everyone would be able to do that, and we really appreciate that. And I think people in the audience would appreciate that. Na kahit naman lalaki, meron pa rin talagang ano we still have that emotions that we could still
Yeah,
showcase. Na alam mo yon, na we are still human kahit medyo minsan insensitive
absolutely.
tayo. We're still human,
Absolutely.
and thank you for that. Yan si Coach A po
Mm.
nanonood. Hello, Coach Edwin. And sabi
Yes.
niya,
Hello,
thank
Coach
you for
Thank
A.
you
saying
for
yes to our tribe. Tapos may
Yeah,
sinabi po
yeah.
siya.
I
Sige
had
pa.
the opportunity of interviewing Coach A at your facility, at your place in Decop Republic in Pasig, and it's been an awesome time interacting with your community. Thank you for this opportunity
Yes.
Yeah.
to
Thank
be with
you.
your community.
And
Yes.
thank you, Coach Edwin, for collaborating. Yun nga, you
Yeah.
doing sa interview with Coach A and being with us as well. We highly appreciate that, and we really hope that this is not the second time. We hope there's a third, fourth, fifth, and maybe
Yeah, yeah,
1,000
yeah.
times that we can continuously
Yeah,
collaborate.
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
Coach
yeah, yeah.
Hasmi. I go
Yes.
ahead, Coach Edwin.
Yes, Coach. Coach Edwin. So, how do you feel? So, we've seen your how you become so emotional about it. Ano, sabi nga ni Coach Ayo, as we free others from that, we free ourselves too from what chained us, diba? So, how do you feel about what happened with that reflection? Anong naramdaman mo, Coach? Anong
Um,
pakiramdam?
Yun, it was liberating for me. Surprisingly
Mm,
liberating for me. I thought I'd be liberating somebody else and
mm,
allowing her to live her life. And yet, ako yung na-liberate. So, it was a wonderful feeling. Um, and I'm excited to share that reflection also to more and more people.
mm,
It's an invitation. It's actually an
yeah.
invitation. Um, Further reflection of it actually is my wife and I, both of us are very internet savvy, and we've been running virtual
Mm,
meetings for a long time. So like 7 years ago, ano na kami, virtual meetings and all. And our observation of the landscape the past days, weeks, is that so many people have gone on board doing webinars. You've been doing it for your
mm,
lifetime, for for as long as I remember. The first time I encountered Coach A was in a webinar like this, a live broadcast like this. So you're many years, I don't know, many months or many weeks ahead of the learning curve of so many other people who are just coming on board doing these kinds of
Yes.
broadcasts. So our reflection is that in the first few weeks, so many people will be giving out free content, and that's all good because we want people to discover how it is to interact this way. Uh, and then at a certain point, uh, tayo as service providers, yun, of course, I'm very much aware that the community is providing free coaching sessions, ano? And that's all good. So many people need that. Even my colleagues at Haraya and ICF are providing that kind of service. Even I am providing a discounted service for my coaching sessions. I'm providing a webinar for free. It's a 2-hour seminar. So we're giving out a lot of good free content. And then my reflection is we need also to honor people's desire to gain something from us, and therefore we need also to start charging people eventually, na once they're ready. Maybe it's discounted or something, but we need to start doing that. Why? Because of what I started describing earlier, the movement of money has come to a stop.
Yes. Mm-mm.
And it will take time, even when COVID-19 is done. Let's say, for example, 2 months later, I don't know what our time frame is. At a certain point, okay, everybody, you can start going out now. It's not as if people have the same spending habits as before. Sige, spend again. No, the velocity of money has come to a very slow pace,
Yeah.
and our contribution to the economy is for that money, for the value exchange to continue even while we are on camera or in quarantine. We need to start letting that commerce continue. So it's important for us to still offer our services for a value, in exchange of value, in exchange of money, so that money can still circulate. Let me share another thing. No? In one of our There's another initiative that I am a part of. It's called Remedy, Ready Medical Dispatch. There are so many cancer patients out there. There are so many
mm,
dialysis patients out there who have lost the public transport. Wala silang makuhang sasakyan going to their hospital where they will need treatments. One of the decisions of our group is to instead of inviting people to do uh, volunteer, to just volunteer and bring the patient to the hospital, because that's how we're doing it for the healthcare workers. We have hundreds of volunteer drivers who are bringing healthcare workers home safely, or bringing the healthcare worker from their home to the hospital. And that's all free for our volunteer drivers, no charge to the healthcare worker. But here, for the patients, indigent patients, the organization, it's a collaboration. It's a group of foundations. We've decided, you know what? Here's how we're contributing to the economy. That Grab driver who was relying on his day-to-day wage or his weekly wage, that UV Express driver who is not earning anything now because people aren't traveling, that family driver who's not driving anybody because the entire family is staying home. Let's pay them. It's not big, but let's give them generous food allowance so that they have something to bring home to their family. And we need to start doing that. We need to find ways to continue the exchange of value, so that people don't go hungry.
Yeah,
And
continuous.
thank you. So
Parang,
very specifically,
Oh, alam mo, dapat mahaba yung oras natin kay Coach Edwin, no?
oo, dapat
Because
nga,
he has a
dapat
lot of,
talaga.
oo, may
Ah,
part 2, may part 3, may part 4, at may part
ah,
5, ano? And
maaari.
Coach
no.
Edwin, can you give us
Yeah,
some one thing, one outcome
one thing.
one outcome na gusto mo pang makita sa sarili mo? Yes, you had a wonderful reflection. Pero ano pa yung gusto mong makita sa sarili mo?
Interesting. I'll answer the first thing that comes to mind, and then maybe later on there's something else that comes up. What I'm exercising now is apart from what I've already shared, no, forgiving and what I'm exercising now is the creativity. Creativity to continue providing services, providing value to my audience, to the general public, to my specific clients, still being able to provide value amidst what's happening now. So for instance, we have a program, it's a 60-day program. It's a goal fulfillment program called Skyrocket. And day 1, day 30, and day 60, we would typically meet in a room, and we're in a room with all the coaches and all our participants who are going for their goals. And paano ba to? Inabutan tayo ng COVID. Are we going to postpone the live interaction where everybody's in a room? And we decided no. Okay, this is a challenge for us. They still are participants. We call them Rocketeers. They still continue to go for their goals. One is setting up a business. One is putting together an event. Another is pursuing public speaking. So she created a webinar. So no, the goals still continue. The dreams still exist. And now it's just a matter of being more creative about how we're executing our dreams, how we are continuing to provide value for people. What am I looking for to change in myself? It's whatever it takes. I have a dream to touch more people's lives, to help more people heal. And even in this situation, maybe even because of this situation, I want to help even more. Not just at the level before COVID. Because of this situation, I want to help even more people heal. And maybe even after COVID, reach more people. Whether it's a paid webinar or whether it's a free webinar or a paid coaching session, we need to continue discovering new ways of doing things, discovering new ways of providing services to the people who need us.
Beautiful.
Creativity. That's my one answer.
One
I need
answer
to get
pa yun.
creative.
Yes, creative.
One answer pa lang pala yun.
Coach
Yeah.
Edwin.
Which is why I admire you guys. You were among the first that I saw online na, uy, they're still continuing their thing. I know that you've been meeting on a regular basis, coming together at D Cup Republic
Yeah.
on a regular basis, and wow, they're doing a marathon. You're putting out a whole lot of great content. I admire the creativity of the community, just being able to respond very quickly. I think that's because you've had already your experience in sharing content this way, and it was easy for you to turn around and say, okay, we've got this because we've been doing this for a long time. We've got this. Thank you. I admire your community for what you're doing. Please continue inspiring more people to be the best version of themselves.
Thank you
Yan.
very much, Coach
Thank you very
Edwin,
much. Yeah,
for this
sabi ni
chance.
Coach A,
Mm.
big thank you. Yan, sa comment section, sabi niya, big thank you from Coach
Mm.
A.
Yun nga yung beautiful na sinabi din ni Coach Edwin na as we free others from debt, sabi ni Coach A dito, as we free others from debt, we free ourselves too from what chained us. Yan, yun
What
talaga.
chained us. That's right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your reflections, sabi ni Coach A. And COVID-19 means rest. Yan. Coach Edwin, thank you very much for giving us your an opportunity to speak with you, for you to share your experiences and your wisdom to the people that's following you, and the Coach A coaching community. As we continue with our day, we declare healing to you, to your family, and we also declared blessing to you and the family as well. And to all the people watching, yun nga ang ganda rin sinabi ni Coach Edwin, it's really about a reset. It's really about a reset for
Yes.
everyone. Hope that you're able to now find your reset. And if you need any help, andito lang po kami. Coach Edwin is here, and the tribe of the certified life coaches from the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs is also here to support you. At dahil dyan, Coach Edwin, tayo pong magpapaalam na muna with our Love Bam Boom. Kasi hindi po
Love
pwede,
Bamboom.
hindi
Yes.
po pwede physical distancing, so ito lang yung pwede natin gawin for now. Ano lang po
Yes.
yan? Love Bam Boom. Pasabog, papasabog. Love
Okay.
Bam Boom. Okay, two times. 1, 2, 3. Love Bam Boom. Love Bam
Love
Boom.
bamboo.
Love Bamboom. Love
Yes,
Bamboom.
love bamboo. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Edwin. And for
Thank you,
those
Wonderful.
Coach
people
Thanks so
Edwin.
much,
watching,
Sean and
thank you.
Hasmin.
Bye-bye.
Blessings. God
Bye.
bless you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.